Right, Sunday 1:30, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea take the trip to the Emirates to put the nail in to Mikel Arteta's coffin when it comes to Arsenal's title race this season. 15 points at the moment is what they are trailing Liverpool by, and it could be even more after this match. In fact, the big dog, Mr. Josh Aveste, it won't be even more after this match, will it? Because obviously Liverpool are playing in the cup final against Newcastle.
Losing in the cup final, I've heard.
You're rooting for Newcastle big
So
time,
are
aren't
you.
ya?
Come on, be fucking honest. He's bought his Newcastle shirt actually just for Sunday, ready to go. You should live stream that final. I wish we were going in a weird way with Brian, because it would have been an unbelievable experience.
I wish we were going, but I also wish that we could just go up and meet Brian in the middle of nowhere and watch it. Do you know what I mean? With him, because
I agree.
I'd absolutely love it.
Let's be honest, every single person watching right now doesn't want Liverpool to win that cup.
No,
Let's be
not
honest.
really. We don't. Not after what Luis Garcia did. If you know, you know. And also, if you know, by the way, oh my God, look at this bad boy. We were talking about Ed De Hoy. This is an Ed De Hoy classic, isn't it?
Is that a goalkeeper top?
It's goalkeeper top.
Fuck it. Why have you got a goalkeeper top?
Reflexes,
Have
mate.
you ever played in goal in your life?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm sick in goal.
He has got strong hands.
Yeah. There you go.
If you know what I mean.
The only thing that would have stopped me being a goalkeeper is my height.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't have a 5'11" goalkeeper, can you?
You can't have a 5. We'll call it 11.5 as well.
Yeah,
Round
but
it up.
you can't have a touching 6-foot goalkeeper. You need like a 6'3".
Can I ask a question, right? For everyone in the comments right now, let us know on your dating profile or the last time you used the dating profile, tell us what your actual height is and what you are in the dating profile. Just be honest. Just be honest now. Because I'll have a confession now. When I was on the dating apps, I said I was 6'4". I'm actually 6'3.5". But I always rounded up.
Yeah, there you go.
And now, if you were back in the day,
I do that with my body count.
Yeah. By the way,
I round it up to 2.
I don't think you even had dating apps when you were dating at the time. You've been out of the game for so long.
I've never had a dating app.
Have you not?
No, but I've always had this face.
Do you kind of want to?
Do you
Do you
know
kind
what I
of want to
mean?
know what goes down on a dating app?
Nah, not really. I is it called precariously, vicariously?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Precariously live through my
Yeah.
Is that
Okay,
the word?
yeah.
Senselessly.
Something like that. Yeah.
I live through my mates.
I think
so
it's
I'm like,
just to clarify, it's vicariously.
vicariously, yeah. So like, I'll literally like, I'll be like, they'll tell me about like this girl they've took out on a date and whatnot, and I'll be like, yeah, what? So what? Like when you got her back there and what position and blah blah, and then like whatever. And
They
then,
say centre
and then-
forwards.
No, and then and then they're telling me, and then I just sort of like turn and look at my missus who sat on the sofa next to me, and she's just looking at me in disgust, and I'm like, I'm not the one doing it. I just want to know the
but
details.
you were thinking about it, which is the key thing.
Which obviously now I'm hoping that your miss isn't watching because she'll think that I've been quizzing you off on your love life.
She did back in the day.
Way, let's speak about the game. Now, I want to ask you a question straight off the back, Mr. Josh Aveste. Have Arsenal missed a golden opportunity this season? Because Arsenal's biggest Achilles heel over the past 2 seasons has obviously been Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. And for City to be sat 5th in the league with 10 games to go at the time of recording, and Arsenal to still be trailing the leaders, Liverpool, by 15 points is pretty disastrous, is it not?
I cannot believe how far they have fallen away this season. Because let's be honest, even last season, yes, they didn't win the thing, but they were right up there challenging. Like they have constantly bottled it season after season. And this is why I said on the kickoff, and you should go and watch this episode, I said that Arteta will start to be under pressure if he doesn't get trophies. Because as much as you can finish second season after season and that feel great, there is a time in which AFC AFTV will be coming out there and going, you've got to sack him.
No, come on, mate. They're obviously going to knock Real Madrid out of Champions League.
Oh, God, come on.
Trossard and the lads. Raheem Sterling, they got him eligible for the Champions League.
What a player. Do you know what?
He actually got 2 assists.
Thank God
the
he's
other
not
night.
available. Thank God he's not available against
There you
us.
go. He got 2 assists the other night.
Yeah, well, that was a quality opposition, wasn't it?
Yeah. 2 draw, PSV.
Yeah.
You know. Beating opponents in Europe over 2 legs isn't for everyone.
They do need to change something though, because they can't just be having this like no trophy mediocrity. They're not going to win the Champions League this year, are they? Let's be honest.
You said like they've been right up there or thereabouts, and in comparisons this season they're not. Well, after 28 games last season, where were Arsenal in the league?
Third.
Go
on.
Go again.
Fourth.
Go again.
Second.
I've got you. You picked every spot.
Was it
where
first?
They were first after 28 games last season.
Jesus Christ! And then they fell away. They bottled it, of course.
Bottled it. Yeah. But it's not a trend.
It's not. Well,
it's not a trend.
Well, I've heard it's actually now even on their shirt.
It's not a trend.
The bottle design.
Yeah, there you go. Just while we're on it, I don't know why I'm not trying to stick the knife in at all. The season before, after 28 games, where were they in the league?
First.
They were first. They were first.
They're not this season. We can assure them of that.
Can it purely be put down to injuries? Because a lot of people will be pointing at the likes of the injuries they've had.
Fuck off, Joey. Jesus Christ. How many teams have we had this season that have got significant more injuries? By the way, Jacob the other day on the kickoff was saying, Gabriel Jesus is a serious injury. Fucking hell, Jacob. He isn't even really a footballer anymore, is he?
Jacob, not long before, was
said he
saying
was wank.
that he was rubbish.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you
By
know
the
what's
way,
so
shout
funny?
out the Scream Rock podcast
I
because I
love
absolutely
the
love
Scream Rock
Jacob's
podcast.
stuff. Jacob,
Do you know what? They have smashed it. If you haven't checked it out, by the way, follow them on Instagram.
By the way,
go onto Instagram first, because the clips on Instagram are ridiculous.
Yeah, and when they next do one of these live shows, we need to go and watch them.
I know.
And I think it would be fitting because after we do completely end Arsenal's title race, being that Jacob's an Arsenal fan, it would be nice for us to go and show him some support and say, look, we are the only team in London with a European Cup.
Yeah.
Don't class West Ham.
I think when you're an Arsenal fan, you do have to turn to humour, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, just to get through it.
Yeah, there you go.
No wonder he's such a funny cunt.
No, there you go. Big up Jacob, I love him. Look, of the board failed going into this season because the only notable signings incoming, Calafiori, Mikel Merino, and then obviously Raheem Sterling. Jacob himself. I keep mentioning Jacob because that's the Arsenal fan that we're probably closest
we talk to all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was telling us Timber would be like a new signing.
Yeah. He is good. Timber's good player. Yeah. But they had a poor summer. Absolutely. I mean, the Raheem Sterling signing is going to be there in the folklores of Premier League history as one of the worst signings the Premier League's ever had. He can't even get in the team over Ethan Nwaneri, a 17-year-old. I mean, he is pretty good. But he can't even get in the team.
Do you think it is that bad a signing? I mean, he's out there on loan. They're probably only paying a small portion of his wages.
How much are they paying him, Joe?
I think they're paying about 100 a week and we're paying about 225 or something like that.
That's disgusting.
Which is, criminal. How are we going to get rid of him? I don't know what. I'm hoping that he's ambitious enough that he wants to go out and play football.
Yeah.
Because if Enzo Maresca and the powers that be say to him, look, you just aren't going to be playing next season, you aren't going to be featuring, then that'll be that. By the way, let me just ask you, being that Raheem Sterling, in my opinion's best position is off of the left wing.
I think his best position is on the bench.
Okay. But when he's on the pitch, best position off of the left wing. Do you think with the injuries that we've had recently and obviously the suspension of your boy Mykhailo Mudryk and whatnot, do you think he would have been getting any minutes this season?
No, I don't.
No.
I honestly don't.
You'd rather have Tyreek George, wouldn't you?
I would rather have Shimmy. I'd rather have any of the young kids. I'd rather have that guy that came on in the Conference League the other day on the left.
Yeah. Bolo Zenden, would you rather have him?
I'd rather have Bolo Zenden.
There you go.
I'd rather have Arjen Robben, Damien Duff. Right now, I'd have any of them.
Oh, at
right
that
now.
age right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play.
I'd rather have any
fair
of
play.
them.
Only 2 wins in their last 7 in all competitions.
That's mad.
For Arsenal. They're without a win in 3 in the league. Now, one thing I will say, though, and I'll take my blue-tinted glasses off here, even with the injuries they've got and whatnot, suspensions, obviously they won't have Raheem Sterling available for this game because he can't be eligible to face us. I do believe that they are still more, and I'm on about at this moment in time right now, and I know they're going through a bit of a bad patch there, but, I do believe that they are still a bit more of a fluent team than Chelsea are looking like on the pitch at this moment in time. And on form, I do believe that they're still probably playing better football than Chelsea are at this moment in time. Definitely,
even without a striker.
Definitely, even without a striker over the last couple of months. But look, no Saka, no Havertz, no Jesus, no Tomiyasu, no Sterling. Listen, that means that front line's going to be what? What is Arsenal's front line going to be? It's going to be Martinelli, maybe Marino, if not Trossard.
And then maybe Trossard on the other wing, potentially.
And then Nuari, maybe.
There are some injury doubts, I think, about him potentially for this game as well.
If there was ever a time for a Chelsea side that was perceived to be an underdog in this fixture to rock up to the Emirates and get a win, purely on what's going on at Arsenal, not what's going on at Chelsea, purely on what's going on there, now's the time, surely, isn't it?
It is. It's just like, you've got to look at their team, and we have got such a porous defence. And so I never go into any game right now and go, that's a guaranteed clean sheet. But you go into it now and you say, if they score a couple of goals against us, something has gone seriously wrong. Because they haven't got a lot of talent up there, really, if you're being honest. Like, Arsenal have got an unbelievable goalkeeper, an unbelievable defence, an unbelievable midfield right now, even now. But that front line, we should be, even with the defence we've got right now, we should be dominating them.
But then they are, mate, like at the end of the day, like they are footballers. They are footballers at the top level. They might not be the elite of the elite, but they are footballers that are signed to contracts to clubs that are playing at the top level. So when you do have an unbelievable goalkeeper, an unbelievable defence, which they'll be able to field on that day, the defence will be good of theirs. And that midfield, if you're going to have Rice, Partey and Odegaard in a midfield, then you're going to be able to cut out, bits of play, create chances for the boys in those front.
But this is a litmus test,
and let's remember as well, the likes of Martinelli, he is a good player. Trossard has been a great buy for them, I would say. When you consider the fact that they were going for Mudryk for 80 million or so, we stole them off him, and they went and got Trossard. Let's make no bones about it. Trossard has made more of an impact at Arsenal than Mudryk had made at Chelsea to this point. Hopefully, he proves me wrong later on down the line. So we're not gonna say that this is an easy test. And I think that one of the reasons I'm saying this is, if Chelsea do go there and they pull something off and they get a win in this one, I want it to be very much acknowledged that this is a statement win from Chelsea.
This is what I mean about like a litmus test, because what I don't want anyone to perceive my previous statements around them is that they're weak, and what my statements are is I think this is a very good time to play them, and we should be beating them. Like, if you're being completely honest, at the moment that they've got all of these injuries, they can't score goals, they're in a really poor run of form. We should be trying to capitalise from that. And as a Champions League, challenging team, we should be right up there. So for me, this is what I mean about it being a litmus test for Maresca. If Maresca can't rise the troops and actually pull everyone together right now and get a performance in a game like this, which means so much. I mean, let's be honest. If we beat Arsenal, the Champions League race is on. In a level that we have not seen for the rest of the season. I mean, it is absolutely. I mean, second place is on.
Mate, the confidence and the vibes going into a couple more London derbies after this would be very, very high. And you say second place is on, people will laugh at that. If we beat Arsenal in this match, we're only, 2 or 3 points behind them?
2 points behind them.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, we could be back down in 5th by the time the game kicks off, but obviously, if we beat Arsenal, it wouldn't matter what Manchester City have done in their game against Brighton. And I'm obviously just assuming that Nottingham Forest are going to beat Ipswich. Who knows? You could get a draw there. You could get an upset. When a team's fighting for their life with 10 games to go, anything could happen. But you'd make Nottingham Forest strong favourites against them. What do we need to do to beat Arsenal? Because I think that we could all agree that the first half against Copenhagen, not very good. There's also a part of... There was this quote, wasn't there, right? That Brian always says to me, but I think he got it from Ricky Gervais. And it was to conduct the orchestra...
You have to turn your back...
On the crowd. To conduct the orchestra, you have to turn your back on the crowd. That is from Ricky
Gervais, and it's a brilliant quote.
Phenomenal quote. And Brian always says it to me, mostly when I'm all feeling sorry for myself and stuff, right? Okay. And there's a part of me that looks at, for example, Enzo Maresca in those 2 games against Copenhagen? Because I'm gonna be honest. Like, you were at the game, you had a different opinion. I thought we played all right against Leicester. I thought that the fluidity in the attacking line and definitely the potency in the attacking line needed to be way better. But generally, I thought we played all right against them. I thought on another day that could have been a 3-0 win or something like that. And we could have come away from the bridge, feeling very differently. It was only a 1-0, I understand that. But I think those 2 Copenhagen games is the reason why I say that quote from Ricky Gervais about, turning your back on the crowd. There could be a part of you, and people will say, again, toxic positivity and whatnot, there could be a part of you that says, look, Enzo Maresca is seeing these boys day in, day out on the training field. He knows what they're capable of. He knows what they're capable of when it comes to retention of the ball and whatnot. And he does want to reserve their legs somewhat. And therefore, he does want to say to them, look, don't worry. Try and, just almost let the clock run down a little bit. And when we get those key moments, we will start to turn it on. And what I mean by turning your back on the crowd when you conduct the orchestra is there are going to be fans that sit there and like they were in my live stream that say that's the most boring half of football I've ever seen in my life. But it's also a half that no one picked up any injuries. It's also a half that no one picked up any bookings and will then have a suspension off the back of, I know it sounds bad and it will sound like I'm being an Enzo apologist, but can you kind of see a little bit where I'm coming from?
Well, I think I'd do you a disservice if I didn't provide the other side of the coin first.
Yep.
To be completely honest, I think.
But before we get into all that, have you not noticed the spike in temperature? The weather is better and the mood is generally lifted. In the UK right now, we are finally in t-shirt weather, and that means summer is around the corner. But are you ready for summer? Are you ready to step out looking at your best? And the real question is, can you really look your best without Manscaped? Because there's 12 million other blokes worldwide who are using Manscaped right now to look at their best. And if you use the code JOEYKNIGHT at checkout, you will get 20% off and free shipping on your order at manscaped.com. My go-to at the moment is the Beard and Balls bundle, because when they see you looking this good upstairs, you don't want to disappoint them. You need to look just as good downstairs. So we'll start off with the Beard Hedger, which is helping you leave your beard looking as clean, fresh, and crisp as you desire. Then we move on to the Lawnmower 5.0, which helps you keep trimmed up and smooth in any other place you might want. Now, the Beard Hedger has 20 adjustable settings. This will help effortlessly shape your beard from light stubble to a well-defined style. And the Lawnmower 5.0 has a dual blade system to help keep things effortless, fresh and smooth, even in the most sensitive spots. And it has skin-safe technology designed to minimize nicks and irritation. And you don't have to worry about how long these bad boys will last, because you get up to 60 minutes of runtime with the Beard Hedger and 75 minutes with the Lawnmower 5.0. And both have a waterproof design, meaning that you can use this in the shower. Not only that, they've got precision lighting on the Lawnmower 5.0, which helps you keep smooth even in the darkest of areas. And Manscaped offer a 30-day back guarantee, meaning you can try the Beard and Balls bundle completely risk-free. So hit the link in the description, use the code JOEYKNIGHT to get 20% off and free shipping on your order. Huge thanks to Manscaped. Let's get back into it.
And I'll refer back to the phrase that I said earlier on about this being a litmus test for Maresca, because for various reasons, I think if we do get the points, then we will be challenging again, and his position looks a lot better. But I also say that in terms of the style of play, because in the last week or so, it is the first time that I have heard significant rumblings about the style of play not being in the spirit of the way that Chelsea want to be playing football. From a considerable amount of people. Like, obviously you saw it in the live stream. I've seen it from a lot of people in the crowd. I've seen it from a lot of people online, that they're saying now that the Maresca style of football isn't exciting and also really isn't getting the results we need to. There's always, do you remember when Jose Mourinho was doing that park the bus era, and he would be doing that very negative football, bringing on centre-backs and going at 5 at the back and closing games out? That was very different from what this is. That was go and get the win, finish the game. Do you see what I mean? Like, it was go a goal up, we'll bring on a centre back and we'll close it out. That was and even in that era, he was getting a load of pelters. And remember how much the atmosphere soured around Jose at the end when he was, or should I say Jose, when he was sort of saying, the crowd at Stamford Bridge aren't giving all they need to give, it's quiet, etc. Right? Everything turned on. Even a legend like Jose Mourinho. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I'm worried about with Enzo Maresca, and it will be less so at, the Emirates than it would be at Stamford Bridge, but he can't keep starting so slowly and not getting results. So there's part of this where you go, yeah, do you know what? We can have loads of games where we go 0-0 at half time, nothing happens in the first half, if you have a really good second half. But my God, there's no guarantees that second half is going to be good against Arsenal, a team that are immensely fit, that yes, they've got injuries at the top end of the pitch, but they are full strength in the midfield and defence. And they will absolutely, and there's a potential that they will be fitter than us. So I just think there is a scenario in which we don't go a goal up and we then end up losing the game in the second half. I think that's absolutely the case.
Fair.
So what I would say is Enzo needs to be pragmatic and look at the style of football sometimes, because I do think there's a scene in which they just expect us to be sitting back. They expect us to just pass the ball around and pass them to death in the Guardiola way, which is the way that Arteta has basically been trained and has kind of moved away from a little bit now. But what I would say is I think he does need to start mixing up and playing a few risky balls.
Yeah.
Going away from his philosophy in certain situations. I think there's certain triggers or certain movements of the pitch where you go, yeah, just ping the ball long, let Neto run onto it and let's cause them a bit of carnage. And I actually think this is the game that you bring that in.
And by the way, can I just go on record to say I'm not happy with the style of play and with what I'm seeing. Like, I'm definitely not happy with it. So I want that to be known. Like, when I just sort of played devil's advocate and said, look, there is that point of, making sure you don't get injured, making sure you're available for the run-in for the tough games in the end of the season. That still doesn't mean that I'm watching what we're doing and I'm going, oh, beautiful, love that backwards pass. I don't like it. I way preferred the line splitting passes early on in the season, the men running in behind, and obviously the goals that were just flooding in the early part of the season. Way preferred it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I find it hard to moan too much when we do come away from a tie going through or a game getting 3 points. And over the last since the Aston Villa game, I think that there has been an uptick, maybe not so much in the performance, but even in that Aston Villa game itself, I think there has been an uptick. It's not soared like we would want it to, but one game can change everything, and maybe this can be the game that can inspire something. So with that being said, shall we move on, Josh Aveste, to our team sheet?
I'd love to.
We have agreed on a team sheet.
We had to do some negotiation, didn't we?
There was a negotiation period, wasn't there?
Yeah, there is, which I love.
Yeah. Well, you're the man for negotiations. Josh at neitherterry.com if you want to, any sponsorships for the channel. Now I'm going to read it out. You can see it on screen now. We have gone with Jorgensen in goal. And the reason, people, is because, as always, we tell you time in, time out, this is not a predicted lineup. This is our preferred lineup. And therefore, Philip Jorgensen is the goalkeeper that we would rather see back in there. We fully understand that the comments that have been made from Enzo Maresca during the week is very, very clear that it won't be Philip Jorgensen, but I'm going to stick true to myself. Now, we're going to list it out on screen as a back four, but you know the drill by this point. You lot are part of the hardcore. You know the drill. You know that one player is going to be inverting, if you want to call it that. It's not really inverting. It's bombing forward and doing whatever the fuck he wants, and that's Cucurella, which means it's more so going to be a flat back three of Wesley Fofana on the right-hand side, Tosin Adarabioyo in the middle, Levi Colwell occupying that left-hand side space. Cucurella will get back at times to help out as much as he can, but it wouldn't surprise me if Cucurella is involved in one of the goals that we score in this game as well, if we do. So he will definitely be the man pushing further forward. Now, we are chucking Lavia straight back in there next to Caicedo, and we're fitting Enzo Fernandez in too. Enzo Fernandez is a man that earlier on during the season, and I would more say last season, I didn't feel had the ability to play in that number 10 role, but I actually think that the way things are going at the moment with Cucurella pushing further forward, it's not so much of a central number 10 role that we're asking Enzo Fernandez to do, and we will start him there. Palmer on the right-hand side, Jadon Sancho on the left-hand side, with Pedro Neto through the middle. So obviously from that lineup, the way we've listed it out, you can see it, but we're kind of assuming, Josh, aren't we, that it's potentially going to be sort of Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez both sort of pushing up in attack. And obviously Caicedo and Lavia sitting in there supporting the defence, which will obviously be Fofana, Tosin and Colwell. Now, obviously a notable admission from that starting lineup, and this is one of the ones that I wouldn't actually say went back and forth on too much. It's our captain, it's Reece James.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Christopher Nkunku, but fair enough.
Nah. Not bothered. The original lineup you sent me had Nkunku in there, and I
don't worry about that.
I just took one look at it and said, mate, Sancho over Nkunku. Yeah. Like, stats wise, yeah, I get it. Nkunku stats are better, but no, Sancho over Nkunku 100%. Like, I won't really argue on that.
So there is an argument for Reece to be playing in this.
There's a huge argument for Reece to be playing in this. I mean, look, last time we beat Arsenal,
he was playing.
He weren't only playing, my friend. He was assisting and scoring, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Cut it back to Lukaku, who we won't speak of, and then also scored a banger at the far post himself, arriving late in the box and drilling one home.
I love that.
Yeah, there you go. 2-0 win. And obviously that was the last time we beat Arsenal, wasn't it? So there's definitely...
Oh, no, we beat them 2-2.
Oh, we beat them 2-2 at the bridge, yeah. There's definitely a case for Reece James to be on the pitch. I do still think that I'm in a position of wanting to manage Reece's minutes a little bit. I think that Lavia is ready. I think that he's been ready. I think he was born ready. And obviously when I look at that lineup there, I'm sort of looking at things and I'm thinking, right, Maresca, be proactive rather than reactive. Make your substitutes earlier on, and I wouldn't be averse to a little swap at half-time for Romeo Lavia to come off and for Reece James to come on.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And for me, also, let's be honest, he's going to have to be one of the centre-backs, so he's not going to do the usual things that Reece does, really, because he's going to have to form the back three. And also, he's not going to form one of the midfield options, because we've got 3 centre-mids playing for the first time in a very long time. So, for me, I just think, in terms of the chemistry of the team, it makes sense to have Wesley Fofana. And I think, by the way, he played very well in that right back role, which was actually, another centre back in the Leicester victory. And I thought what he was really good at there was taking the ball and driving it on. While Reece James can absolutely do that, I think it makes sense to have the wondrous defending that Wesley Fofana provides. And like you say, Reece can come on and make the difference in the second half, which we absolutely probably will need some support.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at our bench as well, it's been looking very, very thin of recent. I cannot wait to get this international break done, because we're looking like the likes of Nicholas Jackson, Madueke will be back after the international break. I think that's one player in in Nicholas Jackson. Noni Madueke as well, very much so, but one player in Nicholas Jackson that there's the old saying in life, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And I think that fans were frustrated. The media were making a frenzy of it for some reason, that he had been on this sort of scoreless run and dry run where he hadn't been scoring goals, even though he had added an assist or two in there and whatnot. But you can so clearly see the link-up play. Everything comes off the back of it. And there's a common denominator here, isn't there? There's a certain player that, we won't lie, the stats don't lie. I think that he's had decent-ish performances. I think he set the benchmark very high. But there's a certain man out there on the pitch that I think is missing Nicholas Jackson big time.
Mr. Chilly, I call him, but really he's cold.
Not the chill dog. Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
Am I reading into that, or is Cole Palmer missing Nicholas Jackson?
I think he does just miss him generally, but on the pitch even more so. I think
100%.
The link up between those two is exceptional, and I do think that Cole Palmer needs that sort of, Neto does this, but a willing runner to be able to draw people away from him so that he can step up. But I have to say,
consistent telepathy.
A lot of telepathy, which is actually telepathy. But also I am a bit worried about the way that Cole Palmer's playing at the moment. Like, even in that Copenhagen, who say it. He wasn't performing incredibly well. There were a lot of shots that he missed in that game. There were passing opportunities that he didn't find the other players.
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah. Thanks. It's a great saying.
I'm here all day. Do you want the others?
Yeah. Where is that
Carpe diem.
from? Carpe diem. Unbelievable.
There you go.
I am worried about Cole Palmer because I feel like it is a confidence issue now that he hasn't been able to bang that goal in. And I really hope he gets that confidence back. This could be the game for it. Imagine if he does. Like, by the way, let's just ask a question because we have to ask this.
No,
if we get a penalty,
of course,
if we get a penalty in this game,
no, we're not asking that question.
If we get a penalty in this game,
who else are you going to give it to?
Yeah, Enzo.
No, mate, you missed one against West Ham.
Yeah, fair enough.
If we get a penalty in this game, of course, it would be Cole
and he
Palmer.
slots it.
I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
If we got a penalty in this game and Palmer and Reece were both on the pitch, who'd you have take it?
I would have Cole Palmer over everyone.
I'd have Cole Palmer over everyone.
Honestly, out of probably anyone in world football, I'd still have Cole Palmer taking a penalty.
You know what Reece would do though?
Reece would bang it.
Reece would roof it.
Yeah.
Reece would roof it. Like, Palmer ain't roofing pens. Like, his next one, I can guarantee... Oh, I don't want to say it in case David Rea's watching. I know he's pretty a subscriber to the channel. But I can guarantee... He's
actually always said he's a Chelsea fan.
I can guarantee you Cole Palmer drops his shoulder to the right and he slots it home into the left-hand corner.
Can I just say, if we get to a cup final and we do have penalties coming up, I'm feeling pretty confident. Like, the top 5 penalty takers at Chelsea right now, who would you say?
Top 5?
I would say Cole Palmer's in there.
Are we listening in order of best?
Yeah, let's do it in order in which they would take the penalties in the cup final.
Okay, so you always need to score your opening penalty, but then at the same time you need your coolest man on penalty number 5.
So it's not going to,
don't you?
Well,
but then some argue that penalty number 4, depending on the goalkeeper, is the important penalty.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume that penalty number 4 is the most important.
Okay, go on.
Right? So I'm saying if we are in the Europa Conference League final, penalty number 1 for me is Reece James.
I agree.
Penalty number 2 for me is Enzo Fernandez.
Okay.
Penalty number 3 for me is...
I was gonna argue. Can I argue someone here?
Go on.
If he's on the pitch, I'd say Noni Madueke in this position. Who would you say?
I'd agree. Penalty number 3 for me would be Noni Madueke.
Yeah.
Then I'd go
number 4.
Penalty number 4 would be Cole Palmer.
Number 5. This is easy as well.
What are you think? I've got.
If he's on the pitch,
I've got 2 players in my head here.
I
think that
I have a guess that I've gone completely different.
Might have gone completely different. So the 2 players I've got in my head are Moises Caicedo or Nicholas Jackson. I wouldn't give it to Nicholas Jackson just because of just a little bit worried there.
No, that's not on my one.
Pedro Neto.
I would say Chris Nkunku. If he's on the pitch, he's a penalty taker. He bags them.
Not sure.
Fair enough.
Not sure. Right, the Arsenal game. Can we get a score prediction from you, Josh?
I think it is going to be a 1-1 draw.
Oh, I'm going to have to agree with you, mate. I do think it's going to be a 1-1 draw too.
Yeah. I think there is a chance it could be a 0-0. But I'll be more optimistic and say there's goals. Who scores first?
I think that Chelsea score first, and I think that Chelsea look better in the match, and I think that Arsenal get a set-piece goal towards the end.
Well,
but I very much
scored
hope
a lot
I'm
of
wrong.
set pieces recently, by the way.
No,
Arsenal, they've lost
set
that.
piece FC
Monaco.
have lost it.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. Can I tell you another thing? At this stage last season, they'd scored 19 more goals than they have at this stage this season. That's
Who would have thought, with a strike force consisting of Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz, they can't score goals?
And Jesus.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that, eh? Who would have thought
we did try. By the way, we went on the kickoff, you and I, and we did try and warn Jacob. We told him about the 7 stages of guilt.
He was having Havertz, and we said, listen, You've not gone through it yet. There's a
Yeah.
range of emotions coming for you. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
People, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's have score predictions in the comment section below. Starting lineups in the comment section below. And most importantly, I will be live streaming this game on Sunday from 1 o'clock. I will be going live. The second the game finishes, I will be flipping down the screen on the laptop, getting behind the wheel of the car and driving right here to meet the big dog to do a post-match review. Do not say that we do not treat you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for everyone who stuck around to the end of another video. We love you all very much. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Like the video, send the video to someone, knock on your next neighbour's door and tell them they need to watch it. We will see you all in the next one.